welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to run through the weekend's horse racing, and as you can see I'm rocking a Tottenham shirt after that performance last night. I'm still on cloud 9 from that, but anyway, on to the weekend's action, and we saw some very good performances. Over at Haydock, Portacello won the juvenile herd, and he was sent off 1-3, so he was definitely expected to win, but he did it very nicely in the end under Joshua Moore, and it was nice to see him back in the winner's enclosure after a long time off injured. And this horse, who has been a little bit erratic in some of his earlier starts in England, he jumped very nicely today and just did what you'd expect of a horse sent off 1-3. He made all, he was upsides a horse, but he jumped well, settled nicely and stayed on strongly. Heading forward, he shortened in the Triumph market to around 8-1 in places. And I think this horse is a very good one. Whether he's good enough to beat some of the Irish, I'm not too sure, but I think he's definitely the best English chance heading into the Triumph. There's been a lot made of Night Salute, and I do understand that you can make a case, but I think Portacello might just have that little bit extra than Night Salute, and I think he'd be definitely up there, maybe in a chance of finishing third in the Triumph. And the Gary Moore team do have a very nice horse on their hands for the future. Now over to the Albert Bartlett Prestige Novices hurdle, that was at 350, and it was Hillcrest who confirmed the high reputation he's had. He's had some very nice form, and he was up to 3 miles for the first time on heavy ground as well, so it was definitely a test to see if he stayed, and he definitely did. He was up with the pace for a long way with Green Book, who also has some very good form, and a rating of 137, and Green Book just threw in the towel and Hillcrest just kept on galloping. There was Crystal Glory who came to get involved with Hillcrest, but Hillcrest just found more, having been up there with a strong enough pace for the ground as well. So that was definitely one of the performances of the day, and I think he sparked some much needed life into the Albert Bartlett, which isn't the best race of all time this year, and this horse came into it rated 139. He'll definitely go up a couple of pounds for that, and he's a lovely big imposing type, probably a chaser in time, but he's definitely good over hurdles, and he's got a massive engine as well. He's got Cheltenham form after beating Am Maximus over 2.5 in the Ballymore novices listed hurdle, but I think 3 miles is definitely the way to go with this horse. He's a big galloping type, and I think Cheltenham will definitely suit this horse, and he's definitely one to keep an eye on. Over at Ascot, in the Betfair Ascot Chase, and it was Fakir Doodley who kind of did what I was expecting. I was expecting him to win a little bit easier, and it might have been a little bit underwhelming for my standards of the horse. I think he's a very good horse in his own right, but he beat 2 for Gold for 2 lengths, and that was decent enough in the end because he messed up quite badly at the second last, and then you thought on that ground it might be hard for him to get going again. But Mark Walsh, big race and a big winner for him. It was a very nice ride, galvanised him and got up to score by 2 lengths in the end. A few other disappointments, well, definitely Lost in Translation. He seems to have lost his way over the past few years, and I'm not sure what Connections can or will do with him next. And also Waiting Patiently, who's a very high class horse on his day, moved to the Christian Williams teams, and he's failed to finish his last 3 starts. He's been pulled up on everyone. That's definitely a concern, and he is 11 now, so there would be a question mark of what the future holds for him. And also St Calvados, who I thought would at least finish the race. I was expecting him to give Fakir Doodley a pretty tough test, to be honest. The step down in trip always seemed to suit this horse, who ran very well in the King George, but he was ultimately disappointing, and I hold my hands up. I thought it'd be maybe a decent each way bet in the Ryanair. Well, that's gone out the window now, and I apologise for that one because he's never going to win the Ryanair, but hopefully he can somewhat bounce back because I think he is a good horse on his day. Also, Does He Know won the Novice Chase, very impressive for David Bass. That was a very good ride. Now, he had been looked to be very well handicapped off a mark of 147, and you was thinking as he was stretching away, well, is he losing his chance of winning at Cheltenham now, because his handicap mark will definitely go up quite significantly, that but it was a very impressive performance. Going around, he was awkward at the 14th, I think it was, and jumped ahead at the 15th, and from there everyone knew the outcome of that race. He stepped on very strongly over the 3 mile trip, and that ground at Ascot was very soft that day, so we know he stays all day, and I think he might have to keep to graded company now, because I'm not sure what's going to happen to his handicap mark, but you think it's going to be in the mid to high 150s now, so that might rule out his chance in a race like the Ultimate at Cheltenham, but he's definitely an exciting novice to keep an eye on. So that rounds up this racing roundup for me. For me, the performance of the day was Portacello over at Haydock. I think he's definitely an exciting one to follow, and I've almost forgot to mention Goshen, who won at Wincanton. Now that was a very impressive performance, beating Adagio, who going into the race he wasn't the most strongly supported, but he does have rock solid form, including man second in the Unibet Greatwood. That was a very impressive performance off 11 stone 12, and I think there was quite a few people fancying him to beat Goshen that day, but Goshen showed something he's never shown before. He showed in a set 2 he can battle it out and get the job done in the end, and going right-handed on soft ground. I think he'll take a good horse to beat Goshen over that 2 mile trip on soft ground, going right-handed, as I say. Heading forward, there might not be 2 more options where conditions will suit, and I think it would definitely be a mistake going left-handed, because he just can't cope with it at all. But nevertheless, he's a tricky but very exciting horse. So thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.